Soft-skinned, short-lived, and scattered, the High Marshal sneered to the Galactic Council. His guttural voice dripped with contempt, gesturing dismissively towards a holographic Earth. "Erase one of their whelps," he continued, cruel amusement in his multifaceted eyes. "And the rest just grieve, they wail, they mourn, and then they forget." A low, rumbling laugh shook his massive frame, echoed by alien delegates, all secure in their shared belief of humanity's insignificance. They saw only fragility, emotional weakness, and predictable sorrow. They were catastrophically wrong. 20 minutes later, every hollow screen across the spiral arm froze. The image, a single human girl's face, serene in its innocence, superimposed above a stark counter. That counter read, trillions, and beneath it the numbers were counting, fast, a relentless, accelerating tally of galactic lives, a silent promise of unimaginable cost. The galaxy, which had just laughed, suddenly found its breath caught in a collective, chilling gasp. The girl's name was Mia. 12 standard years. Dreams of piloting courier shuttles, a collection of iridescent rocks, and an affectionate nickname for her little brother, Stardust. Mia was a gentle, hopeful spark of life. Her fate, however, was sealed by galactic indifference and Kralaxian hubris. On a bustling market day, she took a shortcut through a restricted corridor of the Kralaxian embassy. Inside, a bored Kralaxian attaché, his senses dulled by unchallenged authority, decided a live-fire demonstration would teach these primitives respect. It was not malice, but profound, casual contempt, one swift pull of a trigger. One blinding flash, and then one small, fragile body lay still on the polished chrome floor, her dreams extinguished. The Kralaxian Empire recorded the incident as an acceptable loss. They fined Mia's grieving family a single credit for cleanup and disposal protocols, a final insult. The attaché signed the report, closed the file, and promptly forgot. The High Marshal and the Council dismissed it as a forgotten whisper. But humanity did not forget. Humanity never forgets. Across Earth's outer colonies, the grainy, horrifying footage of Mia's final moments arrived on a 5-second delay. Then a silence descended. Not the silence of wailing, but a deeper, more profound quiet. A stillness that spoke of an ancient, primal fury finally awakened. Comms went silent. Dock workers locked gantries. Factory lines retooled with preternatural speed. Comms boys squirted torrents of encrypted bursts, not towards Earth for guidance, but outwards, towards the deepest, darkest reaches of the rim, towards places the galaxy believed were empty. In the alien tabloids, the event rated a mere half-column. Humans mourn. No retaliation expected. The galaxy, still basking in its arrogant certainty, continued to sleep. But deep beneath Earth's ancient mountains, under its vast oceans and in the far, frigid reaches of its solar system, humanity had been preparing. For decades, in secret, they had built something the galaxy had never seen, deliberately kept hidden. The Third Reserve Fleet, listed as decommissioned for 2 centuries, began to blink its nav lights awake beyond Neptune, cloaked by fields that defied conventional scanning. Every shipyard that didn't exist, meticulously erased from official records, uncorked its massive docks. Deep space haulers, once burdened with cargo, dropped their loads, spun end for end, and revealed rail cores the size of skyscrapers. Planetside, accountants canceled the Empire's astronomical debt, zeroing the ledger and reallocating every credit to wartime production. The galaxy still slept, unaware that the sleeping giant was not merely stirring, but had already opened its eyes. Kralaxian analysts, steeped in millennia of imperial superiority, scoffed at what they dubbed the toy fleet. These humans, they declared, possessed no true dreadnoughts, no singularity cannons, no will for real war. Their simulations predicted Earth would be begging for terms within 72 hours. It was a foregone conclusion. Instead, humanity sent back one line, bypassing every imperial encryption, landing directly on the High Marshal's personal comm screen. "Since you chose war, let us show you how it's done." This audacious retort became a meme on alien worlds, circulating as dark humor. Cargo prices dipped. Gamblers placed bets on how quickly the Empire would win. Then the game abruptly ended. Every long-range gravitational array picked up an anomaly. A gravitational spike of impossible magnitude, a ripple in space-time. Something enormous, something that should not exist, had just folded space from the outer dark. Something that had waited in silent vigil for centuries. Something that had been patiently, meticulously, secretly built. The whispers of the toy fleet died on alien tongues, replaced by a sudden cold dread. The galaxy, which had laughed, now felt a distinct chill, a premonition of an awakening terror. At 1403 Galactic Standard, every Kralaxian border station lost its sun for 0.8 seconds. When light returned, the stations were empty husks. No distress calls, no debris, just scorched alloy drifting. Simultaneously, the Empire's treasury world watched its orbital defenses turn inward, aim, and fire. 1 trillion credits of warship hulls vaporized themselves in perfect synchrony. Humanity's first wave wasn't a wave. It was a whisper you felt after your lungs had already collapsed. The Imperial fleet scrambled, but humans weren't fighting a war. They were demonstrating subtraction. Remove one of ours, we remove all of yours, 1 decimal place at a time. Each loss was calculated, each destruction a consequence, a further payment on a debt mounting to unimaginable heights. The galaxy, which had once sneered at humanity's emotional nature, now faced a species that had distilled its pain into pure, devastating logic. Council cameras caught the climax live. A single human vessel, sleek, white, no bigger than a yacht, slipped through the Empire's capital shields like they weren't there. It parked over the palace, opened a bay door, and dropped a rock. Just a rock. Then it jumped out. The rock detonated into a directed gravity lance that punched downward through 40 kilometers of armor, bunkers, throne rooms, and ego. The blast carved a crater you could see from orbit. No radiation, no civilian collateral outside the radius. Humans wanted survivors to report. In 43 minutes, the empire that had ruled 4,000 systems became a footnote. Galactic stocks plummeted. Rebellion flared on 100 slave worlds. The soft species suddenly looked very, very sharp. The galaxy, which had mocked humanity's grief, now understood the terrifying cost of its rage. If this story flips that, switch in your chest, the one that says maybe the good guys can still win, smash like so the algorithm knows there's an audience for justice served hot. Sub if you want more tales where humanity keeps its promise, an injury to one is an injury to all. Kralaxian survivors requested terms. Earth replied with a 2-word contract. Full accounting. This was no simple surrender. This was a reckoning. Every credit owed, every life logged, every second of Mia's heartbeat measured against their ledger. Payment came in the only currency left, mass. Freighters ferried alloy to human scrapyards, deconstructing imperial hulls into school ships, hospitals, habitats. The Empire's flag became a teaching aid in history class. This used to scare us. Humanity didn't occupy worlds. It outbuilt them, outthought them, outlived them. The galaxy learned that when you murder one human, you activate a species-wide insurance policy written in fire and mathematics. A policy where the premium is paid in blood and the dividends are collected in galactic transformation. A year later, a monument orbits the old Kralaxian star, a simple plinth showing Mia's smile, her rock collection arranged below. Every passing ship transmits an automatic ping. We remember. Trade routes reopened, but now they run through human-monitored corridors where disputes end in mediation, not massacres. Other empires, once smug, now speak softly, curious what else humanity tucked away, just in case. The answer floats in the dark, a hidden fleet larger than most armadas, waiting, patient, polite. The sleeping giant isn't sleeping. It's just done being polite. And the galaxy would never again forget the name of Mia, or the terrifying cost of awakening humanity. So that's the bill when you kill one of us. One galaxy, one lesson, one promise kept. Tell us below, what would you have done if you held that kind of power and someone hurt your own? Comments fuel the channel, shares recruit the curious, subscriptions keep the fleet lit. Until next time, remember, humans look soft until we're not. And when we're not,